Good evening to you. It is Thursday, December 5th at 8:10 p.m. I decided to go live since Purdue was down by 1,000 at Penn State. Right now, as I watch, it is well over 8 minutes left, 8:45 left. Purdue's down 67-43 in Happy Valley. A couple interesting stories before I dig into what I've been watching. Smith swings it over to Harris, who hits a three. 46-67. Purdue cuts it to 21. One of the most interesting things that happened today, Matt Painter got a tech call in the first half. I think it's the first technical foul. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the first technical foul Painter's had called on him since that horrible season a long time ago, like before AJ Hammonds may have been there. Purdue was playing Illinois, and he got a tech called on him. The ref is also, he was an NFL ref, and he's retired since then. It's been a long time, I believe. You guys tell me I'm wrong if you remember another one. Point is, Paint doesn't get a lot of techs called. Three from the corner, it's missed. Penn State with the rebound. 7:42 left. But Paint got a tech called. A minute ago, Baldwin got an awful tech called. Looked like all he did was do that kind of injection in the veins, three in the veins motion, which a lot of guys do. I don't know what else he did. Maybe he barked at somebody. I don't know. Penn State left corner hit it. They're up 70-46. This is bad. The Marquette game was bad for Purdue. This is worse. And the reason it's worse is they set such a tone. Penn State set a tone early that Purdue couldn't match. Like a lack of toughness for Purdue tonight is palpable. Penn State just looks better. They look better. And I don't like when officials call the game this way, because Penn State's in the first half, they're playing different than this. Now they're playing basketball. First half, they were playing moving picks up top, grab and push and hold on defense, and daring the rest to call fouls. Now they're playing basketball, but the damage is done. Purdue couldn't do anything about it. Purdue wasn't embracing physicality. Purdue did not look tough. Penn State looked tough. Interesting Penn State lineup here, or roster. It's not like the typical Penn State roster to me. When I think of Penn State, I think of you get guys from city centers like Philly and New York and maybe Baltimore. And this team, I think, only has one or two of those type of guys, and it has a bunch of guys from, I know it's a different staff than we're used to, but a bunch of international players. I think they got a handful of international players, but their identity is clearly going to be they're going to try to out tough teams in the first half, especially. I'm telling you, it's like two completely different games. If you're watching, you know it. But the big thing is that Purdue is getting just their asses kicked. And this is going to happen a lot this year if they don't figure out how to embrace the physicality of the game. If you looked on the bench, one thing that was really interesting to me was they showed Berg and TKR. Both of them had bloody knees. I don't know if that, and it was before Bergen had even checked into the game. And I wonder if they're just playing really physically in practices. Paint's trying to get this turned on, and it's not working right now. Purdue doesn't have a guy that embraces the physicality, especially under the basket. But they sped up Smith, kind of like Marquette did. They sped Smith up, and then Smith, Lawyer, and Harris all combined to just turn the ball over and over and over. At the same time, they took away Colvin and Heidi, who looked confused in the first half. And I don't remember either of those guys making a big play today. Penn State just is dominating Purdue. No other way about it. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to AJ's. When you're on campus, head over to AJ's by the fire station. Eatajs.com if you want to order ahead. Grab yourself a pint on game day. Maybe get a Boiled Sports magnet in the bottom of your pint glass. Also, if you're still looking for last-minute Christmas gifts, homefieldapparel.com. Their big Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale is over, I believe. But you can still enter Boiled 25 checkout for 15% off. So thanks to both of them. Not the funnest topic for me to talk about tonight. Not that this has been a real fun. It was nice for Purdue to win the Rady Children's Invitational out in San Diego. That was fun. But the last couple of days, you guys have seen me a lot. Handsome Hour was fine. But, we've dealt with getting our ass kicked by IU, then firing of a coach, which kind of good news. and then Bobinski's presser, and now Purdue's just getting worked in Happy Valley. So Purdue is not great in Happy Valley historically. This is a little bit better crowd, it looks like to me. I don't know if they moved the student section or if they just actually have students there, which is a big change. Because generally Purdue goes there and it feels like they're playing in a concrete cavern. Tonight, the students are right behind the bench now. I really don't know about their configuration. I don't ever remember being bothered or intimidated by that, but they're right behind Painter. And I don't think they made Paint lose his poise. I think a couple pretty lousy no calls, if we're being real honest, when TKR was getting the ball underneath. TKR looked like he was going to get a tech called. He didn't get it called, and then Paint earned the technical. Let me look at the box score right now. I may just get this stuff wrapped up early. Let's see. Like I said, yep, this is in agreement with that. 70-46 right now, 6:56 left in the game. I don't know how I'm going to stretch this and make this more interesting than it is. But right now, Kaufman-Renn has the most points. He's got 15 points and just 3 boards. It feels, yeah, Penn State is killing Purdue on the glass. Penn State is killing Purdue where if you need to be tough, they're beating Purdue. They've got 23 boards. Purdue has 17. What else? Purdue's turned over the ball over 1,000 times. Like in the first half, Purdue had 12 or 13 turnovers in the first half. And I think there's kind of a magic number, 12 or 13. You keep it under that, maybe 11 or 12 turnovers. Purdue's going to be in decent shape. And Purdue is not in decent shape today. They just aren't. Berg's knee was bleeding before he came in, so they made him tape it. Am I seeing that right? I think that's what I saw. Yeah. I would have put Berg in earlier just to use some fouls myself. But if you want to play physical, you're not gonna play much more physical than 7'2" and whatever 320 pounds, whatever Berg is. My guess 320. He's bigger. He looks bigger to me than Edey was, meaning broader. Heidi swings it over to Smith, who swings it back out to. Nope. This buckle got it. CJ Cox. Sorry, brain fade. CJ Cox hits it from free throw line. Did they just give those points the wrong place? Doesn't matter. Purdue's not gonna compete in this game, so the score is not gonna indicate it. Let's see. From 3-point line, Purdue looks awful, and this is the thing. If you take that away from this Purdue team, they're in deep trouble. But they're shooting 30.8% tonight. Free throw line, they're fine. Penn State's shooting 91% from the free throw line. Turnover. Cox is driving up and under, hits it. They did give those points the wrong side. So now it's got to be 50, doesn't it? Yeah, 50-72. Purdue's cut it to 22. Just under 6 minutes left. Good play by Cox. He gets it's a passing lane steal, tips it to himself, drives the other end. Let's see. Anything else interesting in these stats? Smith has looked rattled the whole game, honestly. Baldwin talked his shit in the offseason, and it worked, right? And maybe Braden will notice that. I'm sure Braden will notice this. But Baldwin wanted all of Braden Smith, and he got it, and he's played better. Let's see. How many points does Baldwin have on the other side? Baldwin's got 11 points, 6 assists. He's got 5 turnovers, though. Smith has, like I said, 6 points, 5 assists, 3 boards, 3 turnovers. Fletch, 15 points, 4 boards, 2 assists. One thing that kills me about Fletch, though, especially when Purdue's playing a team that's physical and where they're really trying to D up Purdue. Waddell's in the game, by the way. Seems like Lawyer's situational awareness on a drive isn't great. Like he'll try to out physical somebody who's really got him beat, and he'll get stuffed a lot. And that happened, I think, once or twice in the first half. Cox from deep misses. Berg tries to keep it alive. Nothing. Heidi knocks it around. Penn State rebound. Okay, let's see. Who else? I don't know if there's anybody else to write home about here. Yeah, Jakari Harris looked rattled. Smith looked rattled. I think Lawyer looked rattled earlier, all by the physicality. Kaufman-Renn looked rattled. Penn State's just taking it to Purdue. I don't know what else to say about this one other than I might not be on very long. So let's talk to you guys. Appreciate everybody being here. Zach Welch says, so glad I didn't drive out. Yeah, Zach and I were talking earlier. Was that a 2 or 3? 52 to 72. Zach was talking about going to the game. He had a 3-hour drive to Happy Valley. It's one of those things you got to ask yourself, Zach, and everybody else, if you want to go to a road game, is the juice worth the squeeze? Meaning for a 3-hour drive, we're going to pay a pretty decent amount for tickets, generally concessions, whatever, parking. Is it something where the positives outweigh the negatives? And a game like this, I don't know. Beating Penn State, you're not going to be like, wow, can't believe they did it. For me, this is my own personal thing. I like road games if there's a big upside, but if there's not much upside, I don't love them. Cox is shooting. Cox hits a 3. Now it's 55-72. First time in a long time it's been inside 20, honestly, I believe. Timeout. Nita Universe says terrible. Yeah, absolutely. Joe Bear says, wow, just wow. The road in the Big Ten is a fickle. Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. But Purdue has to get used to the fact that teams are going to try to beat them up. Maryland will do this against Purdue, and I think that's just in a couple days. I think it's on Saturday. I haven't looked at the schedule. And then they're going to play Auburn, who absolutely is incredibly physical. They play the best version of this brand that Penn State was playing in the first half because they're super athletic and big and strong and incredibly well coached. Like, this was poor man's Auburn in the first half to me, and Auburn on the other side, they can score too. So buckle up. Fairweather Greg McManus says, here's the thing. We all know conference officiating is bad. They need to be tougher. Yeah, you're right, Greg. And that's the thing we have to deal with every year. Everybody has to deal with. I told you before, my dad, who I love watching Purdue sports with, he's a Purdue alum, class 70. He said he hates college basketball. He told me this just years ago. I figured out because he doesn't like the fact that the officials are such a story, right? So this game will be called completely differently at Mackey. Penn State fans, if you're watching, it's just going to be, right? Whether we like it or not, that's the charm of college basketball. And Purdue used to have a guy that it didn't matter how hard he was fouled. He could play through fouls and double teams and guys. What he would do is teams would do this. They'd play like Penn State did in the first half. He would hit the bucket, and if they weren't calling it, he'd eventually get the call or two, and then he would start getting guys in foul trouble. Purdue doesn't have that this year. Kaufman-Renn, I know Newbert talked about this, about the low angle thing in San Diego, watching how hard those guys collide. But Kaufman-Renn doesn't have the just the physical strength to take that type of contact. He's big, he's strong. Don't get me wrong, but he's not that big and strong, right? So when a team does this, you have to have some sort of equalizer. I think pace would have been it. Purdue has not been able to speed up teams like this. In fact, when they get sped up, they look worse. So Josh Dietz says, ugly basketball game all around. Purdue, Penn State officials, everyone. I agree. Michael says 2015 was the last time Matt got teed up. Thank you, Michael. So that's a long time, 9 years. I exaggerated on Twitter, so it was 15. 9 years is a long darn time. And I think that may be a statement by Painter just to tell him he's got TKR's back. He looked mad though. Coming in from the half, Paint looked mad, had fire in his eyes. I think he hates watching Purdue get out-toughed, and they were just absolutely out-toughed in the first half. No doubt about it. Boilers 012 says, right there with you, Zachary. Almost did last minute myself. Oh, so you had a chance to get tickets and go to the game. I would think Penn State, most games you can find tickets. Jim Garfinkel says, it's the first road game for the opening of the Big Ten. Purdue isn't supposed to win, but not supposed to get blown out either. And how many times in the last couple of years has Purdue come in that first Big Ten game and dug themselves a hole? It just feels like that's what Purdue does. This is pretty exceptional effort, though. I guess it's still a loss. A loss is a loss, but getting just blown out or your teeth kicked in, whatever you want to say, is no fun. Fairweather Greg Mann says, old joke from a few weeks ago. Yeah, talking about his name. It's funny. Somebody told me that we were mentioned on the Knucklehead board this week, so I went over and checked it out, and somebody asked the question, what does Boiled Sports and what does Boiler Doubt have against Greg McManus? Well, the truth is I got a lot against Greg McManus. I got beef with him. It's major. He knows it. He knows it. I know it. It's something we got to settle, but we haven't settled it yet. So, yeah, we got beef. Right, Greg? So, no. Zach Welch says, on the plus side, ladies won straight sets tonight. Yep, the Shondells girls started the tournament run. Hopefully it's a long tournament run with a dub tonight. It's good to see. I do not have ESPN Plus, so I didn't watch it. Jeff Nestor says, felt like watching a Purdue football game. Yeah. Good sentiment, Jeff. Sadly, you're correct. Pat Gottschall says, Wolf, go volleyball. Shondell's 19-0 over the first round of the tournament. That type of stuff right there, being that sound in the tournament, man, that's fun too. When you're back against the wall, you do it every single time. Fair weather. Oh, this is awesome. Greg McManus says, the bench has zero energy. Nobody's interested in being there. Yeah, Purdue looks like they are not interested. Boilers 012 says, at least Chadwell is potentially still available. Yeah, so I don't know if you're referencing, did UNC hire somebody? I don't know. Nobody's hired anybody that I've seen yet, but I don't know if you saw that thing on our Twitter feed. UNC actually called Bill Belichick. Maybe it didn't. Maybe the conversation was completely unproductive, but they called him. I respect the moxie. Absolutely. Call him. Call Saban. Shit, doesn't matter. Call them. Call their agents. Make something happen. What do you lose? Ron Gable says, hashtag volleyball school. How are you, Ron? Let's see. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Andy Ide says, wasn't last year's game played in a historic gym in Philly? Yeah, it was played in the Palestra. Or was that 2 years ago? I think that's 2 years ago, wasn't it? I think that's 2 years ago. It's one of those. Last year or 2 years ago. I really don't know. But yeah, one of those two. I think that was 2 years ago because Shrewsbury is there. So I'm going to say 2 years ago. That's my final answer. Let me go down here. John Roberts says, gosh, you had to have been spelling your name the whole time, John, when you were young. Because John spells his name with a D on the end, Roberts instead of Roberts. Had to be. The whole life. Spelling his name. No, it's D, not T. Says Purdue has a telegraph problem and Smith needs to stop that hard bounce pass. It just doesn't seem to work with good quality defense. No, it's just like one of those things where once Purdue, I really think it's this simple. When Smith gets sped up like this, and he can play fast, but when he gets sped up like this and he starts getting rattled, you can see it in his face. Like there's a different way about him. And hopefully, it's funny. You guys played a lot of good basketball. I still think he's the best point guard Purdue's ever had, but he can't do it all himself. And I think that's one thing. I think he takes games on himself. In the first half, he was trying to do everything. So when I was talking about with Lawyer, they come out of the break showing Lawyer drive and get the ball thrown into the fifth row because his lack of understanding that a big man is going to toss him. I don't understand it. Lawyer's a good player. He's not that type of guy where he can go and draw contact and hit a layup with a center in his face. It's not going to happen. Jeff Nestor says slow and soft. I don't know if he's talking about dancing, but that's the way I like it too. Boy, a lot of comments. Really appreciate it. I'm going to Adam Beasley says Braden only has 3 turnovers, but so many more if you count the horrible passes that got attributed to others. Yeah, right on. Quinn says, never thought I'd ask for this, but after watching this game, I think I want to talk about Purdue football instead. No, this feels like it, right? This is the same thing we've been dealing with all season. But the good news, here's the thing. I've been telling you guys during the pre-con or during the, I guess we're still technically in preseason, but these two stupid, goofy games, they're going to have games like this. This team's a work in progress. They're going to have games like this. Every time something happens, Ace Baldwin acts like he can't believe the thing didn't go his way. It's incredible to me that he may be right on that one. But if there's any foul on him, he's beside himself that they called the foul on him. And he plays physical defense. So... it's an old bit. But this team is a work in progress. They're going to get better during the season. Maybe they won't get better this year. Like maybe the finished product won't be there by the end of the season. I don't think it's the end of the world. But they're going to get better. They need somebody. Here's what this team needs. I don't know if we see it yet. I don't know if the guy's there and just hasn't developed or if this guy isn't on this team. But you need somebody on this team who not only embraces physicality, but it makes them play better, meaning angrier, and it can channel the anger. Right now, you've got a bunch of guys that look like when they get angry, they're in trouble. They don't have a Zach Edey on this team. Who does? But Edey last year, remember when he got mad? It was like smelling salts, and he played this. He was good, and then he was great when he got angry. Braden Smith, I think the problem is he gets mad, and then he gets a little frazzled, and then Purdue's in trouble. They can't even run their offense, right? And I don't know if Harris can spell him right now where he looks like a finished enough product. He's going to get a lot better. Dag nabbit. Purdue throws the ball out. Waddell puts the ball a little too far out on Colvin. It's knocked out of bounds off Colvin's, not knocked out of bounds, it's off Colvin's fingertips. I don't think it was a great pass. He was starting to break to the right, and the ball was thrown left. Doesn't matter. John Hawk says Rhodes can coach. Yeah, good coach. He's ex-VCU guy, right? Bob says Purdue will learn from this. I feel like they will gel as they go throughout the year. I agree. And they will learn. And Painter has lots of things he can build on here. Hopefully these guys, you got guys playing minutes that may not be used to being played this many minutes. I'd like to see more Burgess. Honestly, I know he's not fully baked, but he's a big and strong guy. Just give him some minutes earlier in the first half. That's just so he can feel it in full competitions. Right now, this game, 3:31 left. Purdue is down 77-55, and they're not going to win this game. That's why I started early. I knew the thing was already in conclusion. Ryan Lewis says, it's the old producer for Macklemore, says, I don't understand how a team can forget how to pass, shoot, rebound, play defense, and do all the things basketball related in this week. No, it's a team. This is what happens. I'm telling you, this is what happens when you have a team that's still trying to figure themselves out. I mean this. This team is not done developing. They just aren't. In spite of the fact you got Lawyer, TKR, and Smith, when the Colvin from deep, I knew that was in right when he left his hands. Man, that looked good. So Colvin hits the three, cuts it to 20. But no, this is going to happen. This will happen this year. Hopefully it doesn't happen 2 games in a row. Baldwin from right, and he misses badly. Yeah, they're going to do this year. This is going to happen. They're going to be back and forth. Michael says, Boiler Dowd, in my opinion, do I think that the officials should stop working multiple conferences like they're doing? I think, you know my feelings on officials, Michael. You've heard me talk about this. I think NCAA officiating is horrible. And whatever the cause is, I don't know the cause. It's probably because they're not paid enough, so they have to work too many games, right? And I think you would probably agree with me there that they don't get paid enough. I know you're a official proponent. I'm not. I'm staunchly anti-official. I hate the fact that I know any of them, that I know their names. I really do. But I know them, and it's not for a good reason. There aren't many of them that I say, man, that guy's a good official. In fact, I can't think of one. So no, they probably aren't getting paid enough, and because of that, they're globe-trotting, right? They're just independent contractors. I think they need other jobs, and they should make money that way. If they like doing this, use it as money on the side or something. I don't know. Keep Chopping says, getting blown out by Penn State in basketball now. Yeah, it's rough. You have a Big Ten symbol? You just root for the Big Ten in general? That's unusual. That's like the thing that I would never do. Yeah. Michael said last year was the Palestra. Okay. I'm going to scroll down a bit here. Nick Cristiano says, Lawyer drives into beehives with nothing to show for it. He and TKR have a ton of turnovers. Yeah. And they have a ton of plays where, like, they kept showing where Lawyer would drive and got thrown. That's not a turnover. They maintained or held on to the ball. But it's an absolute asinine play. And TKR's had a couple where he's gotten a little bit out of control. There's been physical contact, and he's banged it off the back of the rim, and it's Penn State turned and ran it out. Penn State back up by 20. Kern hits a finger roll, smiles real big, punchable, and the foul is called on. Looks like on Berg. Meisterberger says Painter will be entertaining in the post game. Yeah, he will. I think he's going to say more than anything is, I think he's going to talk about how Purdue was out toughed, and they were. The thing that you have to do in a game like this, and Purdue has been good at this in the past, is when you detect how physical it's going to be, you just have to match the physicality, right? The game was not at all evenly officiated in the first half. It was like 2 different sides of the court, but at the same time, you have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. And it's not right. It wasn't officiated well. Anybody can say whatever they want. But Penn State, they said this is the way the game's going to be played. Just like Marquette did. And Purdue didn't do anything about it. And if this happens, I mean, I'm telling you, that Auburn game, they could lose by 40. Because Auburn is so good. And they're going to do this. And they are well coached. It's going to be a rough one. Maryland will be better because it's that Mackey. But this team, I think there's another thing, boys and girls. Somebody asked earlier, how can you forget to play? It's going to be different when Purdue is on the road, real road games. They are going to struggle this year until they figure this out, how to get mentally tough and physically tough. Cox from 3, bang. He was wide open. And another one is just like Colvin's earlier. When you leave him open, you're going to hit it. Now it's cut to 15 points with a minute left. Maybe it looks a little bit better in the box score. It's a horrible game, though. Horrible game. Rudy Ray Moore says, not sweating. It's the Big Ten. It's tough to win Big Ten basketball. Yeah, it is. And like everybody said, Purdue's going to lose a lot or learn a lot from this, and Paint's going to have a lot to work with, no doubt. But man, I don't like seeing them get just crushed. But maybe this is the medicine they need this year. 24 turnovers. Tied the most under Painter, as the graphic says on FS1. That's crazy. Fairweather Greg McManus says Burgess and Waddell trying to make the case for more minutes. Yeah, Waddell hadn't got many minutes. Burgess, he's shown some bright spots. You know, Waddell is I think you can say the same thing about Waddell and First. They kind of are what they are. I would love to see more of Waddell just because he's a guy that stayed with the program when he didn't have to. I don't know if he's got to have a girlfriend on campus or something. That's all I can think. When a guy stays when he doesn't really have to. Yeah, Burgess with a nifty putback. Berg and Burgess fight for a board along with 3 Penn State players. Burgess makes 2. It's a 12-point game. 35 seconds left. Penn State won't run it out. They'll take another shot. Zach Welch says starters came out and this bench unit is cutting more off. Our offense looks better. We need more movement in the offense. Yeah, but you're playing a version of Penn State. This isn't their starters. One guy looks like a guy who's in the rotation. It's the guy with the girl hair in there. 3. He was playing earlier. Chuck Hall says, man, I knew this was going to be a tough game, but I didn't see us coming. 3? Is that Waddell? I looked down and I think so. Final game will be 69-81. Purdue lose by 12. Kind of mercifully. Penn State called off the dogs. They could have won by a lot more than that. So Penn State's going to rush the court. Wow. Nice job controlling them. They didn't control them, but this shouldn't make Purdue too mad. Doesn't make me very mad. I would like Purdue to be ranked accurately. I keep saying this. I think Purdue's a 15th to 18th best team in America. I've said it for a long time, and people have gotten mad at me because then Purdue will go, they'll lose a game and then they'll go and, beat somebody very good. They've done it a couple times, but I still think they're 15th to 18th because it's the entire body to work. They're just not that good yet. They're not complete yet. I want them to be ranked where we don't see this garbage all the time. Purdue loses and everybody's got to have a party in the center of the court. Wow. So novel. Been through it. So I think I'm going to call it a night. That's about it. Hope you guys have a great, I'll just look quick at the box score one more time. Purdue falls to 7-2, I think. Yeah, Purdue falls 7-2. Penn State's 8-1. And there's much jubilation in Happy Valley for the quasi basketball fans. They're not good basketball fans there. We're being real honest. Next up, Purdue plays Maryland at Mackey Arena. I think it's on Saturday. And Purdue's got their work cut out for them to get better this season, but they will. I'm sure of it. Hammer down. Talk to you guys soon. God bless you. We'll see you.